So what is the Jewish response to the Holocaust?
First of all, I'm glad you asked that question. That time you're in a cafe in Boston and your student asks you a question about the Jewish perspective on the Holocaust, oppression, and suffering in this world, while Natan Sharansky is walking by. For those of you who don't know who this man is, he recently retired from his presidency of the Jewish Agency in Israel. Here's just one small snapshot from their website. In 1977, a Soviet newspaper alleged that Mr. Sharansky was collaborating with the CIA. Despite denials from every level of the U.S. government, Mr. Sharansky was found guilty and sentenced to 13 years in prison, including solitary confinement and hard labor. In the courtroom, prior to the announcement of his verdict, Mr. Sharansky in a public statement said, quote, "To the court, I have nothing to say. To my wife and the Jewish people, I say next year in Jerusalem." End quote. After 9 years of imprisonment, due to intense international pressure and a campaign led by his wife Avital Sharansky, Mr. Sharansky was released on February 11th, 1986, emigrated to Israel, and arrived in Jerusalem on that very day. I said it once and I'll say it again. You can't write this stuff.
Okay, here we are with the man, the myth, the legend.
What's up, tribe? Welcome. I lived in the Soviet Union without identity and without freedom. And I knew nothing about Judaism, and about our history, and about our people, and about our faith. And the life was senseless, meaningless. The only idea of life was how to survive in spite of anything. And then I rediscovered my identity, became very close to my people, to the history of our people, and to the state of Israel. And that gave me a lot of strength to fight for my rights, rights of all the Jews of the world. Dear friends, it's such a big school to be part of our family, of our people. I'm excited.
For Jews who are suffering or they're disconnected, what inspirational message would you give them to stay strong and to persevere?
You're not alone in this world. You're family. You have unbelievably strong and supportive family. Think about us Jews hundreds of years ago and why and how we survived. Think about what was 50 years ago with us in Soviet Union and how we survived and came in millions to Israel and to America, to other places. Think of all the challenges that we are facing and how we go through 1,000 years of history from strength to strength. Be part of your family and it will give you a lot of strength.
There are a lot of Jewish responses to the Holocaust. What I try to present is the Torah response. Very difficult question to answer, especially on one foot. It took them more than 5 years to wipe out 6 million of our people. And you want me to explain that to you in 5 minutes?
The point is that it's hard to answer.
The point is that a lot of people don't have the background to really understand the answer. And it takes time to build a perspective. It's really difficult. It's like saying, please explain to me quantum mechanics in 5 minutes. And you say, well, okay, do you know what an atom is? When we want to address such an important question, like when we want to really give it the respect that it deserves, it's going to take time. To understand the Torah perspective, you have to build a background. You have to build our knowledge base of the basics. Then we're able to start to look at specific instances in history. That being said, the one thing I'll point out is a lot of people make the mistake of divorcing the Holocaust from the rest of Jewish history. The atrocities that have befallen the Jewish people over thousands of years did not start in 1938 to 1945. Those atrocities did not just start in the 20th century. They've been going on for thousands of years. I'll give you a brief example. There were times when governments, when the Jewish people thousands of years ago lived in Israel, conquerors like Greek, right, with the story of Hanukkah, they waged war against Jerusalem. There were things punishable by death for religious practice. The Romans came in, the Persians came in. They destroyed Jerusalem. They massacred the people there. They would cut up a woman. They would open her stomach, take the baby out, kill the baby, okay, and sew a live cat into her stomach. Can you imagine if they had Facebook then, or they had YouTube? What you would not think like, whoa, the Jewish people hadn't suffered for thousands of years until until the Holocaust. No, to a pogroms. I mean, we do a disservice by divorcing the Holocaust from the rest of Jewish history. That's number one. Then the real question that we're asking is, why does suffering happen? How can God allow anyone to suffer? The anti-Semitism is so alive and well today. People are denying the Holocaust. We have the Torah, so when we're going to ask, how does this fit into the picture? The first step is we have to understand the picture. So I invite you and anyone who wants to join us. We're going to be learning Derech Hashem. Bezrat Hashem. We'll start to build a pair of glasses that we can then take, put them on, and look at these very difficult questions to understand how these types of calamities could happen and have happened to the Jewish people.